Hey, my name's Boston Brown, and this is my video discussing the poem that I chose and all the literary devices in it. The poem that I chose was I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud by William Wordsworth, and I guess the most obvious place to start would be right there in the title. We got a simile, lonely as a cloud, and then it's the first line of the poem as well. I wandered lonely as a cloud. The next one I want to touch on is the imagery, and I think imagery is pretty important here. Kind of goes along with the theme and the main idea of the poem, talking about nature, talking about comparing daisies to people. I mean, not daffodils to people, which is personification, but I'll get there in just a second. But it's very important to the content of the poem. And I believe that what he's trying to do with imagery is make it seem like you're there and can feel it. And the examples of imagery is, it says, a host of golden daffodils beside the lake beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. And that's just one example. But, I mean, it makes it really easy to picture and makes you be able to easily put yourself there. And you can see it and imagine it, and dancing in the breeze, you can feel it, you can smell that breeze. Next one I want to touch on is metaphor, and the example that I want to use for metaphor is in the last stanza, it says, "For oft, when on my couch I lie in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude." So there's no like or as there. It just says the bliss of solitude, and it's comparing. They flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. It's like comparing that inward eye to the bliss of solitude without using like or as. So you got a metaphor in there. The next one is kind of going back to the same example I used for imagery. It says, beside the lake, beneath the trees. That's a little bit of alliteration. Beside the lake, beneath the trees. That's kind of neat. Makes it flow really good. Makes it just nice to read. Pretty, absolutely beautiful poem overall. But I mean, that part in particular. And then talking about assonance. In the assonance, you have where it says dance waves they dadgummit. Oh, it's the very last line. And then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. Dances with the daffodils, the D's, and not the D's, that'd be the A's, assonance, yeah. The ances with the affodils, the A's there, dances with the daffodils. Again, makes it easy to read, makes it nice to read, fun to read. It sounds good. It's just a good sounding thing, makes it a better poem. The consonants, get into the N sounds when it talks about them in the daffodils in a never-ending line. It says they stretched in a never-ending line. There's a lot of E right there. Never-ending line. Never-ending line. So the N's right there is a little bit of consonants, and that's the same thing as assonance, except with the consonants. And then the personification, obviously the daffodils are given human qualities when it says, at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake beneath the trees, floating, dancing in the breeze. So a crowd usually refers to people, and it says, daffodils were the crowd. So that's personification there, given that human characteristic to the daffodils. And then the hyperbole is the last one that I'm going to touch on. And the hyperbole is 10,000, wherever it is. There it is. Continuous as the stars that shine that twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched a never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 I saw at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. There probably wasn't actually 10,000, but that's what it says, so there's that exaggeration. But I'm going to finish off by reading the whole poem through. And So yeah, it says, I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in a never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 I saw at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft, when on my couch I lie, in vacant or pensive mood, they flash upon the inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills, and dances with the daffodils. Beautiful poem.